Okay, as the weather has ruined what I was doing outside, I thought I'd play around with locks. This is the aftermarket lock I bought in anticipation of finding this particular plate, which obviously works very well. It still has the plastic protective sleeve on it, and I compared that to the original lock, and they do look pretty much the same. The only difference being is that the locking bolt protrudes a bit further than the original on this. Don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. It fits in the bracket quite nicely, and that locking bolt protrudes slightly out from it. In terms of extension, there's quite a In terms of extension, there's quite a good extension on there. So that's the aftermarket one. It does feel a bit light and cheap. As a side note, I did try the key from the new lock in the old lock, but it's a no-go. It was always going to be a long shot. So that leaves me with the question of what am I going to do with the old lock. It looks like the outer cover is fairly easy to get off. We've got tabs which I think we could prise open, and just for curiosity's sake I think I'm going to have a look in there. It might be interesting if I swap the lock barrels over, it might be fun, but we'll see. Start with a screwdriver and just see if I can bend the tabs up gently. It may be we only need to do one side. Oh, that one was easy. This side seems easy enough. Try these ones. It's a very thin cover on this. Try not to totally mangle it, it'd be a shame to ruin it, but as it's of no immediate use to me. Gently, there we go. Pop. Oh, that's curious. Okay, so it's not total access, but you can see, I don't know if you can see, but the lock barrel runs on a, has like a cam on it, and that cam just swivels up or down depending on where the position of the key is. Let's see if I can get in there and have a look, see if the lock barrel wheel is removable. Okay, after much fiddling, using two little picks that I just bent out of bits of wire, and trying to recall my Bosnian bill lock picking videos, I managed to actually lock the lock. And once you lock the lock, it means you now have access to a little C-clip that I think is holding the barrel in. So now that I've done that, and that took probably a good 20 minutes of arsing about, but now that I've done that, it should allow me to pull that C-clip out and hopefully the barrel. So yeah, here we go. I'm going to try with a screwdriver first, see if I can get in and pick that out. This is how they're going to work. I was going to oop, there it goes. And got the magnetic trays, because that C-clip literally just pinged off into the magnetic tray. Lucky shot. Okay, now that that's out, I'm hoping the whole lock mechanism will this thing literally pings apart. So it took me 20 minutes to get this bit apart, and now we have it. The whole lock mechanism comes out, and I'm just seeing if there's anything else that's going to just fall out. Hopefully now the locking pin comes out and we should have an empty barrel. Now I'm wondering, I don't know if I'm going to do this or not, but I'm wondering if I can exchange this barrel for the one out of the new lock. Why would I want to do that? I don't know. I'm just doing this for fun. Okay, so I was just looking at the lock barrel itself, and let's see if I can get this focus. When the barrel doesn't have a key in it, all the I think they're called tumblers are in the vertical position, and that locks into a channel moulded into the body of the lock itself. When I insert a key into it, you'll see that they all disappear down along the top, which is pretty good, but 2 of them underneath stick out below. Now I'm wondering if I file these off, whether that will render the lock usable. So when the key's not in it, all the top ones are sticking out the top, but when the key's in it, nothing sticks out the bottom. I'm willing to give that a go just for the sake of the hell of it. I've got the key in and I can see the 2 lugs protruding from underneath, so I'm just going to grind them flush and see what happens. Right, okay, so this is either going to work or it's not going to work. But as we've got the clip out the lock barrel, we should be able to see. Okay, so I've reinserted the lock and it's time to find out if this key works. I wasn't that lucky. Okay, so you can unlock it, but you can't lock it. Oop. You can unlock it, but you can't lock it. Okay, well, that tells me something. Okay, so what I think is happening is, even though they're very close, I can't get in too close myself, even though it's very close, the top ones just protrude too far. So I'm going to just grind those slightly and then see if we've got a working lock. We'll try again. Okay, here we go. That did that before, so it unlocks the bike. Yes. That actually works. The question is though, if I take the key out, can you use a screwdriver to do it? No, you cannot. It's locked. And the other way. It's locked. Excellent. I think we might have a working lock. It's a little bit sticky at the top there, but it seems to work. Well, I'm really pleased with that. I'm going to see if I can get that cover back together, and I think we'll call that a win. You know how you can speak too soon? Well, as I was withdrawing the lock just to clean it, all the pulls fell out. So now I have a game of get them back in and try to get them in the right order. Fantastic. I think this lock has seen some action over its years. I'm going to give it a go and see how we get on. There is some wear to it, but it is an original Honda lock, so I think I'm going to give it a bash, although I've got a bit of time to think about it between now and when it goes into service. I'm just going to put some grease on it, avoiding the lock itself because you don't want to get grease into any area where there are keys. This is going to make a mess, I'm sure of it. Yeah. Why didn't I use conventional grease? That would have made more sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think conventional grease would have been better than this stuff. Insert the key, check it works still. Yeah, that's good. Now, the only way to put the C-clip in is with the lock in the lock position. And hopefully I can just press that down. That's a magnetic screwdriver. There we go. Cool. Excellent. Actually feels quite smooth now. I gave it a bit more of a grind after I'd reset all the tumblers because there was a little bit of catching on it, but it seems okay now. Okay, time to try and get the lock body back together. This is where the whole project falls apart because I can't do it. Oh. Come on. Please don't skewer yourself. Oh, nearly there. Okay, let's get those tabs bent now. At least enough to hold it in place for now. A bit of thunder coming. Okay, that's the tabs. Okay, just quickly, as the battery is really flashing now. I've got the housing back onto the lock. It seems to function absolutely perfectly. So we've got an original Honda lock. Now why would I want to use that over the aftermarket one, which also works perfectly? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it was a fun project to do. Secondly, this one, the aftermarket one, doesn't have a dust cover on it, whereas this original Honda one does have a dust cover on it. And secondly, this is original, so why not use it? I'll certainly fit it to the bike, and if it proves to be problematic, we know we've got the aftermarket one to replace it with at a later date.